What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN, USD. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. I forget who, I was skimming through the comments earlier, and somebody was like, volume's increasing as we're dropping. C-Zar says the volume never increases as we're dropping. Yeah, but if you're looking at Coinbase, that can be deceiving. Let's look at CoinMarketCap. I actually haven't seen it, so maybe it has increased, maybe it hasn't increased. That doesn't know. That's sub-average volume. So well, it's desirable. Let's not milk it. You know, it is somewhat desirable volume. Like if you're looking to move up or down, 8.7%. Yeah, that's a little bit higher than what we've seen normally whenever it moves down. But when we move up, it's like 12%. It's like 13%, 14%, 16%. Right? Whenever we move up, it's dramatically more than that. So 8.7% is desirable volume. Let's be real. Let's be absolutely real. But it's still not a whole lot. I'm assuming that this is just some panic sellers. Anybody that bought the top here, anybody that bought over here, and they're trying to get in at a better price. Maybe people who bought back here and now they're getting cold feet. Any of the above. Definitely a little bit more volume than average on Coinbase here, but nothing to be worried about, right? Bearish candle for sure. We very well could go lower. If this is the low, if we do find support here and start moving up, we are bouncing right off the oversold zone, which is a powerful indication in itself. So I think it'd be very nice to see today close green. Even if we don't, we've typically found support right in this area nonetheless, just a little bit below the oversold zone. So it's very possible we could go a little bit lower and still be fine. For a while there, we were considering that 1.3 to 1.2 cent area. We're in that zone now. If we go a little bit lower, who cares? We could even go below this low, and it's still not a big deal, right? It might seem like a big deal to some people, but if you just hold, if you buy the dip, you wait, we're really showing a kind of nice double bottom pattern here with this nice Eve, and it might be an Eve and Atom, or it could be an Eve and Eve pattern, however it works. But whenever we get above this point here, you guys, this is the point to watch. Whenever we get above that central point, that focal point there, we should see things take off at the pace that we're all familiar with whenever it comes to maybe not all of us, but the people who've been around for the massive pumps that we've seen in the past. That pace should pick up once we get above this high here at about 2 cents. So 2 cents is a very key level to watch, to pay attention to. Okay, looking at this on a 1 hour time frame here. Let's see, a little bit of volume coming in, yeah, on that 1 hour dump. Let's pull up some other indicators while we're down here. Okay, loading. I'm going to try and turn the computer down and see if it messes with anything. I don't think it will, but let's just see. If it does, then we'll turn it back up. But I'm sure it's annoying for a lot of people. It's just annoying for me whenever it's like laggy, kind of like it's being right now, but we'll see if it gets better. You're at the 50 area on the RSI, 50 area on the stochastics. You could be rejecting here. Rejecting. MACD looks good. I don't know. The MACD is the one thing that makes me think you could continue, but other than that, these other indicators make me think we might go a little bit lower. Assuming that Bitcoin moves lower too and Ethereum move lower, I mean, probably. You probably do come down a little bit. Let's look at the 4 hour time frame as well. Yeah, I think it's being a little laggy, so I'm probably going to have to turn up the volume on this. Sorry, guys. The whirring is back. I had an update on my computer. For a second there, for like a week there, it wasn't doing this. It wasn't needing this higher performance, but I don't know, man. Those updates have a way of just screwing things up for whatever reason. High to low, or low to high fib extension levels here. We hit the golden ratio, finding resistance to the 1272. We're going lower, probably going lower. The lowest I'd give us would probably be the money zone at 1.13 cents. I don't think we go there, but that's just, that's something to address. Likely we'll find support somewhere between about 1.26 to 1.18 cents, somewhere, anywhere and everywhere in between that zone, right? Primary target zone is here. We're looking bearish, at least as of now. We'll see how it goes. If in the next 4 hours, or the next 2 hours, 45 minutes, this 4 hour time frame closes higher, there's hope. But at the moment, it looks like we're kind of rejecting here. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I'm not swayed by the 1 hour time frames, and I'm definitely not swayed by this, at least not the looks of it so far. The RSI doesn't look too bad. I mean, it looks bad. Overall, it looks pretty bad. But where we are is generally an area that you like to find support. But you do dilly-dally in this area sometimes. And whenever you dilly-dally, you go a little bit lower. You go, look at this here, right? Whenever you were dilly-dallying here, you had higher lows in the RSI, but I guess you didn't go too much lower. Maybe we just hang out in this area, but I really wouldn't be surprised if we went, a little bit lower. If we can close a 4 hour candle above 1.323 cents, that should be easy to remember, 1.323. If we can close a 4 hour candle above there, then maybe we have found a momentary low. Is it the low? It could be, but it's at least a momentary low. And in which case we could expect to move back up to about 1.4 cents. And then from there, probably come back down or look for some kind of higher low to build from before progressing higher. We'll see. At the moment, though, I have to admit the 4-hour time frame does make me think that we will probably move higher from here. That we're either at the low or very near the low. That's my cat Mufasa. He's a good boy. Yeah, buddy. Bullish divergence on the stochastics. No bullish divergence on the MACD, but it's not bad. No bullish divergence on the RSI, but you don't need bullish divergence to move up. Daily time frame. Again, where the RSI is, we normally find support here. Bullish divergence on the stochastics. We're trying, man. We're trying to get into that. Once the daily ribbons or the daily oscillators cross into this ribbon here, the band, we're looking good. MACD's got bullish divergence as well. We're set up. We're set up to move higher. We just got to do it, man. And I think it could depend on a couple of things. Maybe we're waiting on Bitcoin. Maybe we're waiting on the rest of the altcoin markets. But looking at it here, I think we could chill, right? In this zone before, we chilled a lot, right? Here we are now, chilling a good bit. We could chill here for another week or so, and then by the end of the month, we should be moving higher. Even if we're not above 2 cents by the end of the month, I'm not worried about OnyxCoin because, again, this thing moves at a very fast pace when it wants to. I would be surprised if we weren't above 2 cents. I'd be surprised if we weren't getting this next phase up started by the end of the month and above 2 cents. But again, even if that happens, I'm not worried about it, right? Everybody's worried about the timing. Everybody's worried about every other coin that's pumping. The reality is, guys, not every altcoin is pumping right now, right? And that doesn't mean that they're not going to pump. I heard somebody talk, who was it? I think it was Ivan on Tech. Shout out to Ivan on Tech. I actually like Ivan on Tech a lot, man. I think he's a smart guy, but he's been in the space about as long as I have. But I heard him say something that I just really disagreed with, and that was, you should be paying attention to the ones that are pumping right now this week. If your coin hasn't moved up in this past week, and you're expecting it to move up some other time, he's like, what narrative are you waiting for? And then immediately goes to talk about, he talks good things about Cookie Dow afterwards, which Cookie Dow hasn't pumped over this past week, so he kind of contradicted himself. But again, I like the guy. I think he's actually a really intelligent individual, and he knows what he's talking about. But I think he had a little fallacy of the mind here. There's a plethora of cryptos that did not pump this past week, or at least they didn't see the same results that even Bitcoin or Ethereum or XRP did, right? And they're going to do phenomenal. They're going to surpass XRP, Ethereum, Bitcoin. There's a plethora of them that have not performed yet over the past couple weeks that will outperform the whole damn market, right? Everything takes its turn, right? This is not the week to get shiny object syndrome. Sell your boring coins for the ones that are being exciting. This is not that time, and there's really never a time that's appropriate to do that. Okay? If your coin keeps going lower and lower and lower, and it's been all cycle and you haven't had a single bit of life, okay, maybe. Shout out to Blue Zell. But other than that, no, probably not. You should be patient, right? Be very patient. I think we've got a nice phase of accumulation here. It's a very tame consolidation phase in comparison to what we saw back here, and the results should be fantastic once we finally do break out. Again, 2 cents is going to be that area. I think getting above 1.5 cents will be exciting because that'll validate that we're getting away from this lower part, but 2 cents is that real that final boss before we start seeing higher prices. Inevitably up to 26 to 32 cents. I don't really have anything else that I want to say, guys. Let's look at the ribbons and then we'll finish this up, okay? Why not? Pull up the ribbons. Moving sideways, they're not going to be as reliable, but yeah, a little bit bearish on the daily there. Let's look at the weekly time frame. Weekly ribbons look good, actually. The weekly ribbon technically would call for us to go below the ribbon here, which would be, we would go below 1.2 cents at the moment, or about 1.2 cents. Just saying, typically whenever you live in the ribbon like this, you do find support just below it, typically. Not always, but typically. And I remember saying that back here, but I thought that we were going. I was like, all right, cool, we didn't have to do it. Maybe this is that inevitability. We do get slightly lower lows. I don't know. Something like that could happen. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for you. Overall, the weekly, even if we get that slightly lower low, the weekly ribbon looks very bullish. Daily ribbon, whatever, it's neutral, doesn't really matter. I guess momentarily bearish, but we already knew that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.